There are some lessons that I learned last year that might be valuable to you. I'm outside, it's 2025, but I want to talk to you. I'm out here just enjoying the beauty of the world. God has graced us with a snow day, something that I have never experienced before, but it's pretty cool. And this is my first time doing something sort of like this. I'm a little bit out of my comfort zone because there's people walking by and stuff like that, but it is what it is. How y'all doing? Doing great. So yeah, we made it through 2024 and now we're here in 2025. Here are some lessons that I've learned that may give you some value, may give you a little bit of perspective, or I don't know, just get the gears turning. That's just what I wanted to talk about. And I want to start out with the biggest lesson that I learned last year, and that is going to be trust God's plan. Trust God's plan and have faith, as that's really been the thing that truly got me through last year. And that's the thing that I feel as if a lot of people really underrate, or we don't really devote ourselves to it and whatnot, is actually just trusting the process, giving it to God, and just having faith within ourselves, having faith that whatever it is that we're going through is that He'll get us through it, and understand that He has never failed us. God has never failed us. No matter what it is inside of your life, no matter what it is that you have asked Him for, I can guarantee you He has always delivered. And He may not deliver it in the way that you are most expecting, or more so in the way that you want to, but He has never left you without, or never left you never left you in need. And that's such a great thing to realize. As 2024 was a bit rough for me. 2024 was a bit rough on yourself. And throughout it, when I realized that my back was against the wall, it was hard. I had nowhere else to go. I had nowhere else to turn. I felt like I couldn't even depend on myself in that moment. But sometimes I realized is that you always have somebody to depend on. You can always have a positive light shining up on you. Every single day that you wake up, God is choosing you. So what is the right thing for us to do? We should choose Him. And in those times, and this should be everything, not just when your back is just up against the wall, but this has helped me realize that is choose Him. I had nowhere else to turn. And guess where I turned to? I turned to God. You might need to turn to God. Understand and trust the power within Him. He will never leave you without. So no matter what it is that you're going through, ask Him for guidance. Talk to Him. Trust His process and have faith inside of yourself. Trust His process and have faith inside of yourself, because He will never leave you without. He will never leave you without. I can't say that enough. And I say this in some of my comments, and people have seen. But He has never failed us. When you feel like you have nobody, you always got somebody. Somebody's choosing you every single day that you wake up. Somebody's choosing you as long as you're able to breathe. He gives you the grace. He gives you the ability to be here and show up. But you have to trust Him, and it can be a bit confusing at times. And this is coming from somebody who thought they already had a pretty good relationship with God and whatnot. I realized in the process of trusting Him while I was going through things, there was a bit of uncertainty before I realized that He's never failed us. A bit of uncertainty, right? And it's a hard thing to do, right? But I realized that when you have nothing else in the tank, you got nothing else to give. That's where you gotta rely on faith. That's where you gotta rely on your hope, your faith. The way will be shown to us, and it may not be shown to us in a way that we want it to. But trust and believe, a path will be created for you. A path will be created for you to walk. He will provide you with all of the necessary equipment in order to tackle whatever hurdle it is inside of your life. So trust God's plan and also have faith in yourself as you're going through this next year. Everything will unravel the way that it's supposed to. Everything will happen the way that it's supposed to, as long as you give, as long as you follow the path that God has laid out for you, as long as you follow the directions that He has out for you. If you trust Him and you follow His purpose, you follow His guidance, and have faith inside of yourself, because having faith in yourself is having faith inside of God, because you are one of His creations and one of His favorites, as He wakes you up every single day. So as you continue to go through 2025, remember that is you have been chosen to wake up every single day. You have an opportunity to be great. Someone's always got your back, and that's the Heavenly Father up above. So yeah, trust God, trust the process, and keep faith in yourself. That was my biggest lesson that I learned last year, and I feel as if it was the most important lesson. But number 2, this one is a bit of a harsh lesson to learn, but it's also a harsh reality that we must be able to accept. As besides God, nobody cares. Nobody cares, and I mean that in the sense of nobody cares about you more than you do. So it's a very true statement, because yes, we have family, we have friends, we have peers, we have all of the sort that say they got your back, and they're willing to go through the trials and tribulations with you and whatnot. But understand that at the end of the day, your life is your life. People can help you, people can say they're going to be there for you, but ultimately the one to make the decisions to change things or help you out, or ultimately it's going to be on you. Nobody can care about your future, nobody can care about your direction, your trajectory, the things that you have in store more than yourself. And you have to realize that, and it'll go ahead and it'll help you start to shift your perspective on life and allow you to start really tackling things. You start to depend more on yourself. You start to be more hardened to yourself, and that's a good thing. Support is also a good thing, and being in an environment where people care is also a very great thing. But when you have to truly realize is that ultimately deep down, nobody truly cares to the same level as you. Nobody really cares about the goals that you have really set. Like, yeah, they'll go and they'll support. Think about it. How many things have you talked about doing and whatnot, and everybody's like, yeah, I got you, bro, yeah, I'll support you. And then guess what? Where are they at? They in the background. They may not even be reposting or anything of the sort. Ultimately, nobody really cares about your goals. Nobody really cares about your aspirations or anything like that inside of your life, right? And it's crazy. It's a duality. It's not unnecessarily duality, but it's something kind of funny in regards to that, because at some point you can kind of make people care more so in regards to things. But I guess that's a topic for another video. It's more so like focusing on you until the focus is on you. Focus on you until the focus is on you. But yeah, that's a topic for another video. But ultimately realize that nobody really cares, bro. And it's a harsh one. It's a sad one. Yeah, they'll care, they'll be supportive, and I don't mean that as in people don't love you, but when it comes to the decisions and the direction that you're going inside of your life, or the things that you're going through, you'll have you'll have something to kind of fall back on, being the support of other people. But when it comes to actually the achievement of these goals, nobody cares about it more than you, and you have to accept that and maneuver life on that, finding more strength within inside of yourself. And also it helps you not to feel as bad when more so you're left with shortcomings of other people, I guess, caring for you, or feeling as if somebody has to care for you or has to be rooting for you as much as everybody else. Because like I said, the reality is you're the only one. Like I said, think about it. How many things, how many goals, how many things like that of the sort have you told people that you're going to try to do, you're trying to get after, and they're not really, truly supportive? Like, they're, oh yeah, I'm happy for you, or that's great, but like it kind of just stays at that level. But yeah, nobody cares. It's a harsh reality. Nobody cares about you more than you. Nobody cares about the direction of things that you're going through more than you. And this is a universal thing. Like I said, I care about every single one of my viewers, every single one of my subscribers, and everything of the such. But almost fell. Number 3 is patience. Patience and being quiet. I'm going to lump these two together, but I want to more so talk about patience at first. But yeah, I feel like patience is in tandem with, as well as trusting the process and trusting God's plan and things of the sort. Because 2024 really taught me that. There were so many times where I was just sat down. You gotta realize that you have to be patient with things. Like, life will sit you down. I realize life will sit you down if you're not ready for what is to come. Life will sit you down until you get the lesson that you need. Whether it's life, God, you will be sat down. You will be forced to some form of stagnation, or progress will be halted. You will see, yes, you will be sat down into some form of stagnation and whatnot. And it may bother you because you want more. You want to do more. You're trying to figure out how to get more. But sometimes you need to just have patience, and also in having patience, trust the process and have gratitude for the place that you're currently at. Because in trusting the process, watch how things always work out. Things always work out. It was so many conversations that I had with one of my friends. I had a conversation with one of my friends every day when we go to the gym outside, and we just talking about, man, I want this bad. Man, I want this bad, so bad, bro. But it's just like, I can't get it right now. And, it maybe it's just not, and I realized, in that year, and seeing how everything turned out in the moment, is maybe it's just not for you right now. Maybe it's not time for you right now. Maybe it's just not what's set up in store. Maybe that's not what God has in his plan, or has in he has in his intent for you at this current moment. But trust and believe that he will show you the things that you need to receive. Have patience when it comes to the goals, the things that you want inside of life. Everything is not meant to just come to you immediately. I almost fell. Not everything is meant to just come to you immediately. You can want it so bad. You can want it as bad as you want to breathe. But trust and believe that you will be sat down. If it is not for you, and God doesn't have in store for you, if he doesn't have it in store for you, you will be sat into having to to just wait and trust the process. Think about it. And if you relate to this, go ahead and drop that down below. When it comes to something, what is something that you wanted so bad? What is something that you just couldn't wait for, but it was either, every step that you took to move towards that, you were sat down, or something was removed out of your life at that time, or it was taken away, your access to it. What was it so bad that you wanted, that you had to sit down and be taught and teach yourself patience? What was it? I can say for myself, but one of the things I had to teach myself patience about was going through the whole process of kind of like, my feelings, as well as, wanting things out of life, such as money and, job and all of these things like that. And it's like, now I see the bigger picture. Now I see the lesson. Now I see why I didn't have these things. But patience. You must have patience as you move throughout the next year. Understand that things are going to unravel at the pace that they need to. Understand that things are going to happen in the way that God intends it for you. And in short, as you're going through this next year, remember that if he does not want you to have it right now, and it is not in store for you, you simply won't have it. You will get it eventually if it's in store for you. Chances are what you want might not even be for you, but it will be revealed to you and will be given to you if needed. But along with that, as I said, is being quiet. So I realize as I've moved throughout last year and moving into this year and whatnot, being quiet is probably one of the most important things, I guess, that's been being taught to me and whatnot when it comes to your aspirations and goals inside of life. And people say this all the time, is because you don't want to put your positive energy out there or your goals out there inside of the world, because there will always be somebody. There's always going to tell you, there's always going to be opinions. In short, think about it. You may want to start a YouTube channel, and this is not personal, this is not for me, but you may want to start a YouTube channel or something like that, and somebody may have an opinion for you, and it can be a bit discouraging. It can be a bit discouraging and really move your head from being focused on the things that you want out of life due to somebody else's perception or their reaction to what you're telling them and whatnot. So I've learned that as when it comes to the things that you want out of life, so the great or the things that you're trying to accomplish inside of life, it's better just to go ahead and be quiet and then show the results. It's better to go, and this is something that I've already lived by, but I need to take it to the next step. I need to take it more serious because I almost fell. But even more so, like when it came to me starting this YouTube channel and starting certain things and whatnot throughout the course of last year, I talked to a lot of people, and some people said some things. Some people, even now some people even have comments and whatnot about me being vulnerable on the channel and stuff like that. I don't really care. Instead of responding to it, I'm gonna just be quiet. I'm gonna focus on me, and I'm gonna continue to grow my community and show the results off and show the work that I've been putting in. I'm helping people. I'm gonna continue to do it. But yes, maybe you need to be quiet moving throughout this next year. Learn to be quiet. It's one of the biggest lessons I learned is patience and being quiet. There's no need to talk too much when the work is already being shown. There's no need to talk too much when the work is already apparent. Number 4 is the channel motto: one breath, one step, one day at a time. And this in conjunction with faith, it all kind of goes back to my faith, but this in conjunction with faith is really the thing that got me through last year. It's something that my mom taught me and whatnot. And a lot of the times I feel like this can more so like affect males, as we feel like we have to do everything. We have this standard of we have to achieve, we have to get after everything. But we feel as if we don't really have value unless we're achieving, getting after things, or doing things, and trying to basically be a master of all, a master of many. And as you're going through life, that can be a bit detrimental, especially once it starts weighing on you and when you find yourself with your back up against the wall and you're trying to control everything. This will tie into my 5th lesson, and it also even goes in hand in hand with patience. It's crazy. All the things that I learned really just revolve around each other or really feed inside of each other. As I went through 2024, I found myself trying to get after everything, wanting things to just pass, wanting to get over things, trying to control everything, and not really letting it run its course, not trusting the process, not taking the time. When I found myself truly with my back against the wall and I really didn't know what was going on or didn't know the direction I was going through and I wanted control of everything, my mama told me this right here is you can't control everything, but the thing that you can control is yourself. And in doing that, you have to just maneuver life by controlling the things that you can and just take it one breath, one step, one day at a time. As you're going through these things and you're trying to get through them and whatnot, is have that patience, give yourself that grace. Take it breath by breath. Take it step by step. Take it one day at a time. And as I was going through things, I started to look at it like, okay, I just gotta get through this. I just gotta get through this next little couple of miles till I get to work. I gotta just get through this next little 30 minutes. You start looking at things, just taking it step by step. In general, just taking it step by step. Take life step by step. It really helps you out. Think about it 1 second at a time. I might be going through it right now, But as long as I get through the next 5 minutes, I'm good. I just need to get home. Take it one step, take it one breath, one step, one day at a time, and just take things in increments. It doesn't have to be all fast-paced. Control what you can control and take time and process it. Take time to process it, man. Go through the process. But one breath, one step, one day at a time, probably alongside with keeping faith, because they're in tandem. I feel like that's one of the most important lessons to me that I learned inside of this year. Is like I said, just quite literally take it one breath, one step, one day at a time. Understand that whatever you're going to is going to take time, but you just have to have the faith in yourself to be able to take that next breath. You got to have that faith in yourself to be able to take it one more step. You got to just be able to get through the next day. Life can be a bit unbearable, like I've said it a million times, but sometimes all you can do is take it one breath, one step, one day at a time, and watch how it work out. That's the process. That's the thing that I live by now. That's the motto. Shout out for my mom. Shout out to my mom for teaching me that, because honestly, my perspective would probably be in a whole different place. I'd still be trying to tackle everything, being impatient and all that, if I wasn't sat down and taught that lesson from her. So this is a lesson that I'm trying to teach to you, as I've learned it last year, and we're carrying it on into this year. One breath, one step, one day at a time. As you go through it, sometimes you just got to go through it and take your time, have pace with it. Go at your own pace. One breath, one step, one day at a time. But now we move on to number 5. I know it's kind of late to be saying this at this point in the video and whatnot, but besides the number 1, everything else is not necessarily in order. So these are just 5 lessons that I learned, but I started with the biggest one I feel like I learned. Number 5 is probably the most simple lesson that we get taught every single day, but we refuse to accept the fact. And this, once again, this is more so for like my males and whatnot, just due to our nature or the way that we have to operate in society nowadays. You try to do everything, you try to control everything, you try to be all, right? Trying to be all. But there's some things that I don't like to say in this world. One of those things I don't like to say is I can. But I realize that there are some things that we just cannot do. And number 5 is you're only human. You're only human. You don't have the capabilities to do all. You can't do all, and it's perfectly fine. You don't need to hold your standard. You don't need to hold yourself to a standard of I must do it. I have to do it. I can. Like you don't. There are some things. It's okay with not. It's okay with being able to say that you can, right? And I'm not saying that should be like your crutch for everything. You should always have some sort of effort when it comes to whatever you're trying to achieve inside of life. But understand that there are some things that you can't control. There are some things that you just cannot do. You're human, and this is probably the biggest grace that we've been given by the Creator, is because I talked about it in one of my videos. You're human. There are things that you can't do, but guess what? When you can't do, you don't know how to do, you don't know where to go, you don't know where to look. Guess who can do? Guess who can show you the way? God can. You're only human. You're only human. And it's meant that way. That's one of the biggest graces that we have that we tend to neglect all the time, is the fact that we're just human. Like, you know how great that is to just be able to be like, well, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I don't know where I'm gonna go. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can't do it. But guess what? Somebody knows how to do it, and that's God. And just watching that process unravel, and all you have to do is just keep faith and devote yourself. Having faith is free. Devoting yourself is free. But realizing that we're only human is probably one of the biggest lessons that I learned last year as well. And I'm going to continue to take that into this year. I'm going to continue to give myself grace. I'm going to continue to appreciate the fact that I am only human, because it's just beautiful. Being human is beautiful. Not being able to do everything, understanding that, things will just work out. It's crazy seeing it happen too. It's rather like, well, I can't do this. I don't know how to do this. And then you give it to God and you watch how it unfolds. Crazy, right? It's just crazy. It brings a smile to your face and it make you think about all the times where you've prayed, or all the times where you just sat and you just didn't know. You was like, well, let Jesus take the wheel. He took the wheel and drove you to the destination you needed to be. But yeah, those are 5 lessons that I learned within 2024 that we're carrying on into 2025. And I'm so grateful to have learned these lessons, no matter what the hardship that was required for me to go through in order to learn these lessons. I now see the process. I trust the process. I know how it works now. I see it. I understand it now. Like Lethal Shooter. If you know him on TikTok, the guy that shoots the basketball from like full court, he'll miss, he'll shoot it. I understand it now. I understand the process. So I'm glad that I had to go through it, because it's now allowed me to be able to open up my mind, awaken myself, open up my perspective, to share it with other people. And it's really helping a lot of you guys. And you guys are helping me. But yeah, these are just some of the lessons that I learned within the last year. And I'm carrying it on into this year. And hopefully you guys gain some value from this. Hopefully you gain some perspective into it. Tell me something that you learned within the last year, and that you're carrying on to 2025, that you're grateful, that it sucked going through it, but now you see the lesson and you're appreciative of the things that you had to go through in order to get the lesson. Some of the best things in life are the lessons within the detriment or hardships that we go through. I'm probably going to make a part 2 to this. Maybe the video will be 5 more lessons I learned in 2025, and maybe we'll end up sharing some of the same lessons we learned, and maybe we can give a little bit of perspective in the comments or have a conversation about, you know, the lesson in it, you know. But actually, yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll probably make a part 2 to this video. It probably won't be snowing outside. I hope that this wasn't a little too off the wall when it comes to me recording outside, walking in the snow. I don't really want to do too much a vlog type of thing, but I just wanted to speak and enjoy nature because, you know, it is amazing out here. Like, this is my first time ever seeing snow in my life, touching it. If this video was helpful, gave you any value, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe, and remember lesson 4. As you going through life, take it one breath, one step, one day at a time through 2025. All right, happy new year. Love y'all. Peace, love, and blessings. And yeah, I'll catch y'all in the next one.